Yo, yo. Good morning. Yo, yo, yo. All right. Good morning. Today we're going to do keyframes and modifiers. So let's jump right in. So in this lesson, you'll move beyond title animations into full motion graphic design. A motion graphics designer creates every animated logo, infographic, and design element in a commercial, TV show, or web video. When you take on the role of motion designer, you aim to convey a message by animating graphics. Although that often includes text, as we have explored in the previous two lessons, now you'll work on more general animation techniques. The motion design you'll create here borrows a lot from Hollywood movies, reality TV shows, and promotional videos. You will create a vintage travel map complete with a plain and animated travel line. You'll use different animation techniques, including a mix of keyframes, simple expressions, and modifiers. As you sharpen your animation skills. So we're going to be making this. Cool. So identifying eclipse resolution. To start with this comp, you'll use the same project and timeline you used in previous two lessons. So let's jump right into that. Oops. Oh, I actually downloaded this. I think I downloaded it and installed it. Or I didn't install it, I just downloaded it. Okay, whatever. Not a huge update. Alright, so in the edit page, nope, we're kind of moving on from this one. We're in lesson oh, so it might be a new one. We go to the home here, right click. So which one? So the part 2, lesson 2, or this is gonna be lesson 3, I think. Yep, that's us. All right, identifying the resolution. This project contains a vintage map which you can use as the background for the plane and painted flight path. Note the timelines bin includes a backups bin with timelines saved at various stages of the lesson and a completed projects bin with finished comps. These bins are both available for reference in reverse engineering. Then from the edit page, load part 2 start timeline and move the playhead to the vintage map clip. We go here, and then we can load in here, and we're in the vintage map clip, the 4K image, I believe. This map is a simple 4K image, yeah, okay. In an HD timeline. You'll use it as background. So click the Fusion page, put it in the viewer. Hold the Command or Control key for Windows and position the mouse pointer over to and scroll the middle mouse wheel until you see the resolution. Okay, we already did that. So it's Ultra HD. Although your timeline resolution in the edit page was 1080, the Fusion page sets its comp based on the original clip size. So keyframing and motion path. With your project set, you'll keyframe a plane across the map to create a motion path that you can then use for other elements in the project. Keyframe the plane's position. You'll first import the graphic and then apply a transform node. The plane graphic you can use in this comp is already in the media pool. So in the upper left, you go to the media pool here, and we are looking for, not backups, we're looking for travel map. Here it is. And then we can add a transform. And we're probably gonna make it a little smaller and combine the two. Yep. Select the biplane node and set the transform. Yeah, while the merge node contains transform controls, and we could use those to animate the plane and adjust its size, it's usually considered better form to explicitly add a transform node. This makes the node graph more readable. Coming back to the project several days later, you can immediately identify that the transform is doing the moving of the plane. It would be far less easy to intuit that it's the merge performing the movement just by looking at the nodes in the graph. Set it to 0.2. The plane is now more proportional to your map. We can begin keyframing it, so drag the playhead to the start. Holding Command or Control, position the mouse pointer over viewer 1 and scroll the middle mouse until you have a bit of room. Okay, just put them both on there, I guess. And then we can drag it to the left. That is off screen. Actually, this is a little interesting that... Oh. I'm on the merge here. Oh, that's actually a little strange that I don't get the sliders here. Interactive canvas. Huh. Is it the wrong transform? Let's try this one. It is. Those are different transforms. This is the regular transform, and what did I put out there? Maybe transform XF I accidentally pressed? Huh. Okay. It's all good. We could size this back down. Yeah, alright, that looks right. And move it off screen over here. And then, as you would in the edit page, click the put it to where you want to put it. You can move ahead 5 frames after you click and drag where you want it to go. So let's see. So we're going to start it down here. Then we go ahead 25 frames. And then it's over Erica. And before we do that, we got to remember to keyframe it. Not there. Actually, let's keyframe it. Let's go back here. Keyframe it. Then go to 25. Keyframe it. It's auto keyframed. And then, what were they saying? They wanted us to go over the southern tip of Africa. Okay. Down. Oops. Or maybe not. And then at 50, down to southern tip of Africa. And at 75, up to China. And then at 100, off the map. Each control point along the path represents a keyframe. Alt-click on the path in the viewer to add a control point that does not correspond to a keyframe. This allows you to change the spatial shape of the path without having to manage temporal adjustments. What? So they're saying either hold Command or Alt on Windows on the path in the viewer to add a control point that does not correspond to a... Huh. Okay. With the basic flight path of the plane created, you'll quickly smooth the path so it is less linear. In the viewer toolbar, you're going to select everything with this thing, with this one. To select all points, you could also do Shift A. And then they're saying to click one of the points and press Shift S. And now it's wavy, man. And click the smooth and then press play, and that's it. That's your... Oh. Okay, cool. And then we want to auto orientate the plane along the path so that it's flying, so that it looks like it's following this line a little better. So this animation would be better if the nose of the plane followed the direction of the plane's path. Instead of keyframing the angle of rotation for the plane, you can connect the angle to the path modifier and have Fusion dynamically animate the orientation of the plane. Then, as the plane moves along the path, the plane's angle also changes accordingly, making it turn at each bend of the path. In the future, if you adjust the path in the viewer, the plane's angle also adjusts according to the path curvature. So number 1 is select the transform node that we made from before. And then we go connect. We go over the angle parameter and we do connect to path heading. Angle, right click, connect to path heading. All right. And then the connect to menu is used to link a parameter to an existing modifier. In this case, the modifier is the path you created by keyframing the plane. Cool. So return to the start of the render range and then play the animation. Yep. Woohoo. Oh. Okay. And then straightening out alpha channels. Now we gotta kind of marry the two together, right? So to better integrate the plane with the map, let's give the plane a more weathered vintage look. Select the transform and then we're gonna add a color corrector underneath. Color corrector. Whoops, that's not connected. We could do shift and put it on the line. Now it's connected. And in the inspector, use the color wheel to tint the plane to better match the background and increase the lift to about 0.25 to give the plane a faded sepia tone appearance. So we're gonna color tint. We're gonna find the tint over here, color tint. Okay, so we'll just get this thing paused right when we can see it. Okay, so we're gonna, oh, tint, here it is. How much is this? Oh, because we're not. I don't see much of a change. Iris, do you do VX? Yes, I do. I do. I'm learning about it. That's a mix. I'm trying to learn about it and do it in such a way that you can hang out and follow along and hopefully learn a little bit as well. But do I do VFX? I'm doing VFX. I'm trying to get better. And then Rano on YouTube says yo 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 yo, and then we've got Idis Anirud on Twitch. What's up, man? Long time no see. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, this is the new format. We're doing a morning stream. I feel like this format kind of lends to a morning stream. And I got a little more juice in the noggin in the morning, you know? But nice to see you. Oh, your exams are over. That's right. How'd they go? How did your exams go? Lift. We're gonna bring a lift up here. The portal edit, man, that's kind of on pause. That's on pause. Portal edit, yeah, that's on pause. I'm doing these exercises now. These are like more practical, and there's been quite a few techniques. It's like, I don't know, it's tough though. Like besides, I'm not doing like VFX off stream usually. I'm usually working on other stuff. So now I'm trying to stream in the morning and then stream in the evening. And during the evening, I'm now doing like different programs. So it'll get done. It just takes you know, when it's time. I'm not gonna rush it. Although I'm a little confused about this thing. How come How come it's affecting, like we have this color corrector on this. Why is it affecting? Oh, because it's on top. Oh, that's a little confusing. It's on the foreground. I mean, we could put this here, couldn't we? That's still gonna have the same effect, isn't it? Let's see. If we, as you adjust the lift on the plane, the background map also brightens. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You've been in this situation before. Remember, you're training. It's the problem that occurs when you perform color correction on an image with a pre-multiplied alpha channel. Just as we did with the Eat at Joe's graphic, you can enable the pre-post multiply in the color corrector to fix the issue. So we got to find that inside the color corrector. Let's put it back to where it makes sense here. But if we go to settings, pre-post multiply, or does it need to be, we just got to find the pre-post multiply. Is it on the transform? Pre-post multiply, there it is. In options, ta-da. Will you upload a Fusion VFX class in the future? Yes. Actually, I have a whole series now where I read through the whole Fusion guide for the fundamentals, and now I'm getting on to some of the more practical stuff. So if you see me on, Iris on YouTube is saying, if you see me, the videos that I'm going to be posting from now on are going to be more like making stuff. So all I'm saying is, yes, I'll be making more lessons, more instructional follow along type videos. Rana on what? Rana, what happened? Why are you spamming that? Rant, you going to make a short form? Yes. Yep. I need to start like basically advertising this channel. You saw the tutorial. That one was old. What is that? Why are you doing the triangle? The money triangle. Rana. Sure. Did this yesterday. But good luck. Thanks, man. Okay, so going into options here, pre-post multiply, that fixes that issue where since this is a merge and we're doing a color corrector, it was applying the color corrector to this media, which we didn't want. So by going into options here, pre-divide, post multiply, it's only going to be applied to our why are you saying that? Stop Come on. I thought this is like earlier for you now. It's not the middle of the night. The math behind what's, oh, that's a really cool idea. I couldn't tell you. I'm not giving up. This is why I'm trying harder, because I'm not convinced. I think most people are going to believe that Sora's going to put them out, but I don't think so. I think if anything, learning this stuff now is going to come in handy. I'll be in perfect position because I'll understand the techniques and I'll understand the like how to manipulate the footage when it inevitably goes like buggy, you know. I am not too worried. Not too worried about AI. Oh yeah, also the ITIS Anirudh, the new one, the new Unreal Engine update just came out. So I started doing that in the evening. So if I have any time, I'm going to be probably messing around in there. Yeah, we have to embrace it. That's for sure. Yeah. I haven't talked at all about it on this channel so far, but at some point I will. But I mean, I guess I'll say now that like what you're saying, it's usually when you do color related stuff, every software multiplies the RGB channels with alpha channels to create a semi-transparent pixels to create gradation, but those semi-transparent pixels mess up when you do color grading. And then you're saying Unreal Engine and other 3D software are almost the same, right? Unreal Engine's a little... Oh, no, I mean, they're not all the same. Unreal Engine is kind of in its own category, I'd say. Because they're doing real-time rendering. And it comes from a game engine. So it can do a lot of things that, like, for example, Blender, Maya, 3ds Max, the main 3D softwares don't really do, which is just the real-time rendering and then like this optimization stuff that allows for loading of just expansive spaces in real time. But now they're starting to get overlapping where it's like they just came out with the motion graphics tools, which is similar with how people used After Effects. I don't know, man. That's tough. I learned Unreal Engine. Well, I learned Cinema 4D, which is like modeling and motion graphics, and then I learned Unreal Engine. But when I learned Unreal Engine, it was like I had the most fun. It seems like for me at least, Unreal Engine was just more enjoyable to learn. I don't know if that's just me. But so when you could get that kind of like self-motivated, like having fun, that's a benefit, learning stuff. I'm curious actually what Rana's saying here is Unreal is a game engine which makes 3D creation part very simple, but you can't make assets inside Unreal. Okay, that's true, but you can... Let's see, wait, I want to maybe, how close am I to finishing this? Let's speed run this, because I want to jump into Unreal, because what Rana is saying is not quite accurate. You can't, okay, no, it's true. You can't really make the assets, but there's a huge library of assets that you can add into your scene to get you going right away. So like for me, I started by doing a lot of like scene creation, where you could go into the bridge, the Quixel bridge, you grab an asset and you can build out your scene. And that's a really like hands-on, fun experience that you don't really get with Blender. Like with Blender, it's like you're crafting like a single thing. And then with Unreal, it's like you're like creating this space or this world. I don't know. That's the kind of feeling. That's how I approached it. That's what I was seeing. But really, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like infinite possibilities. It's like it's however you use it. You can't make something specific, yeah. There is modeling tools and sculpting and UV, but you're right. That's not a strength of it. The modeling tools inside of Unreal, they're good for blocking out scenes. So like if you want to just block a scene and like figure out where things are going to be, and then put in a camera and be like, oh, okay, that's going to be the angle and like the kind of structure of the stuff. That's what the modeling tools inside of Unreal were good for. But saying you can get assets for Blender. That's true. Quixel Bridge, the thing I'm talking about, works for Blender as well. 10 years ago, they were very different, but now they are similar, more similar than ever. And then Unreal has basic modeling tools for blocking out, yeah. And Blender has Eevee, which is like a real-time, yep. So there's overlap for sure. For sure. Oh yeah, I want to go back also. You were talking about the math behind the pre-molt. So that the button, you're saying that button basically divides the RGB channels with the alpha channels to reverse the alpha multiplication process to get the real pixelated alpha channels to reverse the alpha multiplication process to get the real pixelated alpha channels, which works accurately when you do color manipulation. Huh. That's really interesting, yeah. I have no idea how that works. But that's starting to, that makes sense. So it's like, yeah, it wasn't like actually stepping back. It's doing a trick where it kind of multiplies the channels, reverse it. There is Unity, but I recommend Unreal. I'm pretty like open to all programs on this, but if I suggest anything, it would be Unreal over Unity. Don't mind if you're using any other programs, but whatever. So the semi-transparent pixels that are created when you have renders with alpha channels, those semi-transparent pixels are problematic when you're doing color correction. Yeah. Adds the little poop. The little poop on the image. On the corners. If you increase the gamma instead of the lift, you'll more likely to see a white halo around the image. Every software creates those channels, even when you draw in Photoshop. Yeah, this is a core concept. This is a core concept that's worth wrapping your head around. Halo, just finished Halo, yes. Increase the gamma, and you'll get Halo, the video game. And the new TV show. An alpha divide node. Is that a node? Oh. So you're saying if we just make a circle and we plug it in, we're gonna see. Are you talking about this? Wait. More soft edge. Okay. I'm not seeing nothing about that. Oh. Huh. I don't know. However, the root cause of this behavior and its solution are the same. In the inspector, so we're doing more pre-molt stuff. We go back into the color corrector. Yes, we did that. Okay, cool. And then alternatively, you can deselect the checkbox and insert an alpha divide node before the color correction and an alpha multiply after the color corrector. Oh, so there's another way, is you can deselect it, and we could do it manually with alpha divide before the color corrector. Oh, so let's try that real quick. So just because we're kind of going deep on this concept, on like the technically how it happens, we go into options. All right, so let's take these off. Actually, let's take this off too. Okay, so we got, looks pretty good, but here's the other way, just for the sake of for science. So we could take that off, and it's affecting everything. And so we're going to put an alpha divide here. Oh, and then it screws that up. And then we want to put, oh, the alpha divide, sorry, it's divide and then multiply. So the divide before and then alpha multiply afterwards. Oh. Oh. So we can manually do it. That's cool. Now what happens if we turn this on? It reintroduces it. That's like ×3. Huh. Kind of cool. All right, and then painting a motion path. In Fusion, you can use paint strokes to create for visual effects and animating motion graphics. No matter what the task, painting always starts with the paint tool. Unlike using multiple brush and shape tools to achieve the painting style you want, Fusion includes a single versatile paint tool that incorporates many brush types and paint styles. To paint the path across our map, you'll add a paint node directly after the map node. We're going to put it here. I guess this is map. Plane. And then we select the map. And then the paint tool is added directly after the map. At the top of the viewer is a toolbar for the selected paint node. The toolbar offers several strokes and paint styles suitable for motion graphics or retouching shots. The paint stroke style that is comparable to drawing a spline path in the polyline stroke. So in the viewer toolbar, click the polyline stroke, and we're going to click over Brazil and then click over to Australia just to test it out. So let's see, with this thing selected, we can select the polyline. Oh, okay. And then Brazil, we got to do Brazil to Australia. Ah. And then you want to select the transform tool and click the modifiers. Wait, let's make sure that we're not missing anything. It says for your plane path, you'll only need to add 2 paint points to create a line of any length anywhere on the screen. Once you have the polyline stroke, you can modify to use the plane's path. Okay, so so after we've kind of found our stroke, we can apply it to the motion that we put for this plane. So where you click doesn't really matter. As you'll see, we're about to replace this initial stroke entirely. You now have a polyline paint stroke. Okay, one sec. I'll show it on on stream 1 sec. I want to finish this. So you now have a polyline paint stroke that we can modify with the path modifier. And then, however, the path modifier currently exists only on the transform node where you created the keyframes. You'll need to make this available for other tools. So select the transform and click the modifiers. So our transform over here with our path. And we go into modifiers. And what do we expose? In the modifiers, path 1, when you created the keyframed the plane, modifiers are just optional extensions to a tool's main feature set. For instance, you used the transform tool to create a spline through position keyframes. Creating a spline using position keyframes automatically creates a path modifier. So that modifier can be published and then made available to other objects that can make use of the path. Therefore, the first step is to publish the path so that the stroke can use it. We just at the bottom of the modifiers tab, right click over this thing. It says right click here for shape animation. We right click and we do publish. So we just published this line, like put out into our instance of Fusion. And then we're able to go over to the paint here and apply the, how do we do that? How do we apply that path? Let's find out. The published one. So now we select the paint node and select modifiers. And then at the bottom of the inspector, expand the stroke controls section. From here, you can connect to the published path polyline. So you expand the stroke controls. Okay, but which one? Which one do we connect to? At the bottom, of the stroke controls, right click on the right click here. Okay, it says right click here for shape animation. So we right click. We do connect to the thing that we published before was path 1 polyline, and then we go line, and now it's connected. And then the simple polyline paint stroke you created now takes the shape of the motion path. Oh, that's why we had to do we had to make just a little line, because then it shows up in here that we could go into modifiers and connect it to the thing that we published. That's it. And then at the top of the modifiers tab, actually let's take a breather here and take a look at what Rana's saying here. Okay, so this is okay, so you're showing the alpha divide. What it does. So it looks like it sort of clips the, so you're saying it like clips, we're just kind of looking into what the alpha divide does. So in this, it would be, it's like transitioning to transparent, right? It's like kind of like a gradient, soft, but this will kind of clip it so that it's, that's what the divide does, right? But so you can manually add the multiply, and then we add the divide. So at the top of the modifiers tab in the inspector, expand the brush controls. You might need to double click the polyline stroke 1 section to expand it first. Change the size to about 0.01 and drag the softness slider all the way to the left. So polyline stroke 1. We could change this to, they're saying change it to 0.01. Is that affecting this? Polyline stroke 1. Nope, that's not the one that we're looking for. Polyline, this one, right? Or stroke 3. Okay, this is the stroke that we're trying to add it. It's now stroke 3. We can change this to 0.1. They had a red thing, and they also had it turned into dots. How do we get those dots? Circular? Spacing? Oh. Nope. Aha. Brenda, you're saying it basically divides the RGB channels with the alpha channels to get rid of the semi-transparent pixels. As those pixels are not accurate representations of the alpha channels. You said you're going to make a video about it? Are you going to show some representations? Oh, we're a little off here with our animation. What happened? How did that happen? I think I must have, or is it when I did the size? No. We could nudge it here. We could pin this so that it sticks around. And then nudge it over. That works. Whoa. Let's see. In this, in the apply change, you can change it to a vibrant red. And then in the stroke controls, drag the spacing slider all the way to the right to create a dotted line. And sliders in the Fusion page can only go so far, but if you need, you can type in to get a little more space. By that, you can see, here I'll undo that, but here, what they're saying is you could type this in 1.5, and you get a little bit more space. Wow, you made this GIF like super fast. Wait, is this yours? I'm impressed by how fast you made this. Oh, dude, thanks for showing how to do this A/B properly. Dude, stop with the freaking the money eye. I'll call it that. Okay, so you're showing, okay, so you're showing pre-post multiply, and then you're demonstrating it along this branch that you can divide. You can do basically the same thing manually, right? And then you can multiply, change brightness. instance these two. Yeah. Which is how to do it in Nuke. Oh, with the manually divide and multiply? That's just how it works. There's no easy button. Cool, thanks for that demo. So in the spacing, we can enter 1.5 or 2 or whatever. And then we gotta link the parameters up. In Nuke, it's called pre-mult and unpremult. Yeah, that's, I had a plugin in After Effects, and that was what it was called. Pre-mult, unpremult. But back in After Effects, you had to get a plugin to do that. Maybe it's a feature now. But linking parameters to add more visual interest, everything's a plugin, and After Effects is a plugin. I don't know what that means. Yeah. You'll animate the dotted line so that it follows the plane. So we're adding more visual interest. The hard way to do this is just to keyframe the line, but if you change the plane speed, you'll then need to go back and adjust the paint stroke animation as well. Fusion allows you to link the animation of one parameter to any other parameter, even if the parameters are completely different. Everything's fucking. So in the Modifiers tab, we drag the right on and slider back and forth to see the result. So with our paint, we can go here and changing the right on like it goes along, and we want to connect it with the plane. Modifiers are one of the best things in, so this is the nuke workflow. Unpremult, the color corrector, and then a premult. Pre-multiply. Wait, you have nuke? And then it has a start and an end, and by dragging it, you can kind of see how it's going to play out. So you want to right click on the right ons and end handle and choose connect to path 1 displacement. So on right, so you right click, or do we actually right click on this? Right click, connect to path 1 displacement. Did that, oh, that does it. That does it. I have everything. You have all the infinity stones. That's how I like to think about these programs as I'm learning them, like infinity stones. And if you can like learn them all, doesn't matter if you have the program, you have to know how to use them all. Then you get super Thanos powers. So you right click, you modify connect to the displacement there, and you drag the you drag the playhead through the render range to watch the path right on, and that's it, right? And then what else? What else? This is turning into the best animation ever. Marvel level motion graphics here. And then we drag the playhead through the render range to watch the path right on, and then following the plane. The connect to menu command provides a very easy way to connect two parameters, but it doesn't allow much flexibility. For instance, what if we wanted to paint the strokes to lead the plane, but just a few frames instead of following the exact position? The connect to menu has no way to do that, but you can link parameters in other ways. So we have to remove this now. So we're going back. It worked, but we want it to work and be more flexible. These alternatives may require a bit more work, but give you much greater power. First, you'll remove the connected displacement from the end handle of the right on, and let's do that. So we want to go back to this section and remove right click, remove path 1 displacement. And it looks like nothing changed, but that's because this is here. And then in the node editor, we want to select the transform node and click the modifiers tab. If path 1 isn't already expanded, double click it. So we want to go over here. We want to go to modifiers. If it isn't open, we want to double click it. And then the transforms path modifier includes the displacement and heading parameters that we connected to earlier. We drag the playhead back and forth to see how the displacement, wait, were we supposed to connect something? In the node editor, select the transform node and click the modifiers tab. The transforms path modifier includes the displacement and heading parameters that we connected to earlier. Drag the playhead back and forth to see how the displacement parameter animates based on the time in the comp. What? Wait, was I supposed to do a thing? Yeah, we disconnected this. Or no, oh, it's already, that is the displacement? What? Oh. So drag the playhead back and forth. As you drag, the displacement parameter is animated. Okay, we're just observing that this is moving with the timeline. And then this is the control to which you want to end the end slider of the paint right on to link, right? Didn't we do this? With the transform node selected from the upper right corner, click the pin button. Wait, just right there. And that will keep it there in this inspector window. And then by pinning the path 1 inspector, you can select another node and see the two nodes' controls at the same time. Right, okay. So they just wanted us to pin this. This setup makes it possible to link the two parameters for different nodes. Okay, in the node editor, select the paint node now. Over here, this bad boy. And then we select the modifiers tab. Okay. And then in the right on end, we're going to type equals. All right. All right. Okay. Right on end equals. Huh? Equals. Huh? Put some music in the background. Yeah, music's tough for me. I get distracted by it a little bit. In the evening stream, I put on some music. And then at the end of the stream, it was like, copy strike, warning, careful. And I was like, all right. Because I was trying to play chill hop, which they say that's all good to play. You know, you gotta give it a shout out, which I do. But then, still got the warning, so I don't know. But evening stream, I'll put on some music. Right now, it's like morning time. Trying to brain time. I hear you though. Maybe next time. So typing an equal sign in any numeric field opens a simple expression field. This expression field gives you the option of linking two parameters. Okay, but I am pressing it. Am I supposed to be in the modifiers when I do this? Yeah, I think so. I think so. But I thought it was on the right on section. So if we go here, oh, we are getting it, sorry. So we get the pick whip. We get the dialog thing that we can connect to our displacement, right? And then typing an equal, you get the expression line with a pick whip. And the pick whip is like a graphic thing that we can see, that we can connect to other stuff. And we're going to connect it to the displacement here. So after typing equal in here, we get this line, and we can click and drag and put it on the displacement. And then that's it. Play the comp to see the linked animation stroke. Yep. So that's like how we had it before, but now it's kind of like connected with this thing, so we can kind of modify this. We can do plus 0.01 to add. By adding 0.01 or 0.1 to the expression, you are offsetting the displacement by 10%. Plus 0.1. Ah, so now it's kind of leading a little bit. Play the comp. In the node editor, select the transform node. In the upper right, you can click the pin to get rid of this. And now it will disappear. And we've got this lead animation here. And if we want to get back to it, how do we get back to that thing? So unless you're trying to create a very robotic animation, which we're not robots, you'll seldom use a linear motion as we have here. Controlling how quickly and smoothly elements move from one state to another is crucial in motion graphics. I gotta start adding your links into the description of the video, but only the good ones, only the good links. Or actually, no, you always are sharing really good links. It's the comments sometimes. Sometimes you're doing edgy comments, but the links are always high quality. So unless you're trying to create a very robotic animation, so controlling how quickly and smoothly elements move from one state to another is a crucial step in motion graphics. By default, the Fusion page applies a linear interpolation. So animation moves at a constant rate. However, we can return to the spline editor. Okay, simple stuff. We're doing spline editor. So we want to do the spline edit for which ones? It looks like this. Drag a selection. And then, okay, so we just go into spline editor. We can select our paint. If you can't see it. Also, maybe let's also put on the transform. Wait. So the displacement here, what is this? Why is it like so? Maybe take this off. Huh. Okay, so, I mean, it looks okay to me. Oh, whoa. So you can select the movement and smooth it out a little bit. You could also do, oh, you could make it flat. So with this selected, is it right click, flat, and that makes it kind of like, whoa. Oh. Oh. You know, that's a term. It makes it, oh. So play the animation, see the result. It's a masterpiece. And then we can apply random animation modifiers. Modifiers can do so many amazing things for your animations, from converting splines to paths, creating rippling animation for text, and even animating any parameter using randomly generated values. Random animation can come in handy when trying to create a wiggle position animation or flickering lights using brightness controls. To complement this vintage animation, you'll use one of DaVinci Resolve's built-in filters to create a flickering old-style film look. So Close the spline editor and select the merge node in the node editor. In the upper right, or upper left, we're going to go to effects and we're going to find film damage. Film damage, and then we're going to add it to the node at the end of this section here. So that animation's great. Let's add it over here. Film damage. And then play the composition to review the newly added filter. Let's make sure that it's, wow. It adds some scratch effects and slight vignette and sepia tint to the comp. With all the parameters in the inspector, you have a great deal of control. In the inspector, you can right-click over the focal factor label. Right-click over it? Right-click on the focal factor, and then the focal factor parameter adjusts the strength of the vignette. Oh, we can like, oh, if you apply a random animation to this slider, oh, I thought we were going to connect the focal, the vignette to follow. What if we do that? If we do this and connect it to path 1 displacement, then isn't it following? No, it's like going from 0 to 1. And so it's like, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to have it follow the plane. But it's, since it's going from 0 to 1, it's not like a positional thing. Let's see. So let's see, if we right click on the focal factor, why are we right clicking on it though? So to adjust the vignette, if you apply a random animation. Okay, so we're just kind of right click, modify with perturb, right? That looks weird, but okay. Connect to perturb, yeah. And then we can modify that perturb and make it more to what we want. Strength, turn down the strength of this so it's not like, just turn all these things down, right? So it's more of a flicker than a, it could be faster actually. That's cool. And then at the top, the perturb, yeah, you can mess around with those things. Lower the strength to 0.5. Oh, that's where we landed. And then increase the wobble and speed to 10. That is not what we did. Wobble, wobble. They're saying to go to 10 and 10. Let's see, 10 and 10. Oh, okay. That's a little much for my palette, but whatever. So the perturb modifier is extremely flexible, and you can add polylines, grid meshes, and even color gradients to wiggle or randomize almost any parameter. Yeah, adding this stuff really kind of takes it to the next level, huh? Really does. It's like playing music in the background of the stream. Just really adds that last touch. Yeah, actually, if this stream, I feel like I need to spend some time working on my stream now. Add in more transitions and stuff. I'm planning to make some graphic elements for like transitions, but I want to do that inside of Unreal Engine. So like I click a button, and then it's like, let's go over to this program, and it's like a press a button, and it like brings us, like a motion graphic comes on, and then swishes over, and it's a new scene. So customizing motion blur. As we did with the text in the previous lesson, the last refinement you'll make to this animation is to increase the photorealism with some motion blur. Move the playhead to the middle of the timeline where the screen is, where the plane is on screen. Unlike the previous lesson where the text plus node created the motion, here the transform one node is creating the motion. To start by selecting the transform one node connected to the biplane in the inspector, we go over to the settings and then we turn on motion blur. But the transform, here it is. Let's go into the settings, turn on motion blur. Quality and shutter angle of the motion blur are the two most commonly used controls for improving the look and spread of the blur. However, increasing these two controls also increases render time, but they're recommending 6 and a shutter speed of 200. 6 for the quality and 200. Now it's really zooming. And then the quality parameter increases the number of times the image is replicated to create blur. The shutter angle simulates the shutter angle in a camera. Higher numbers creates a smoother smear between samples. Setting this parameter to 360 is similar to having a shutter in a camera open for an exposure of one whole frame. And then right-clicking to the right or left of the transport controls allows you to disable motion blur for the entire comp. Right-clicking to the right or left of the transport controls. The right or left of transport controls. All right, I don't know what that. And now you can return to the edit page and use DaVinci Resolve's Smart Cache to render and view your animation. Click the edit page and then go playback render smart. We go back to the edit here. It's already on that, but you can go up to playback render cache smart. And then when it's done, this turns blue and we have it cached. We can play it back. Whoa, whoa. And there you have it. Do we want to do the practice exercise? Nah. Nah. It's I wanted to get through this and for that to be that for today. But let's see. Let's look through it. We'll look through it real quick. Practice exercise located in the travel bin. Dr. Jones with alpha. So if we wanted to have somebody, what? Here's the final image of the comp. Create a blue painted path. Do we want to do this? Okay, fine. Let's go into Fusion. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add the media in. And then we're going to add a transform. Then we're going to add a color corrector probably. I'm going to merge it. I'm going to make sure that pre-molt, post-multiply, do we have to do that? Remember that we can actually just go in the transform. No, it was in the color correctors. I mean, whatever, it's a black thing, so we don't need to do this. It does do something though, doesn't? Anyways, we don't even need a color corrector, it's a black image. And same deal, paint. So on this paint, I think we actually just draw another transform. Let's see, we make this smaller, size down, right? Bring this guy over here, and then we kind of block it out on frame 0. It's here. On frame 25, it's here. and actually frame here. Oops. And then on frame 50 goes here. And then 75 goes here. And then 100, he's out. Okay. And then we can what was it? Right click, polyline 2, select. We could just select these. Press Shift S to make these smooth. And then we're going to the paint line though. We have to make a new paint line. So each time you do a stroke, I believe it's a new thing. So if we just do this to this, it's already blue. How have we done that? I think it's one of these. So this is polyline stroke 1. We can do the stuff where we stroke controls, same deal. We could change this to 2 or 1.5, make it a little smaller. Okay, or what if we do this? Okay, that's better. That's the one that we wanted. We're going to connect this polyline to our transforms line, but we have to make sure that we publish this. So displacement, modify, insert, publish, and then over here with this we can connect this with spacing, size, angle, path controls, tools. Wait. Select this. Hold up. Okay, hotshot. Let's see. We said, let's just read this real quick. In the media, you've got the Dr. Jones TIFF. So you want to use the transform node to keyframe Dr. Jones as he follows the same path as the biplane but inverted. And then create a blue painted path that Dr. Jones. Oh. So they're saying inverted. So maybe there's like a thing where you go into the expressions and do -1 to flip the path. But here's an image of how your final comp might look. So that was the challenge at the end. What was it? We had to connect this stroke needs to connect to our transform. Maybe we want to pin this and this stroke here. If we go polyline here, blend, controls, size, so the shape, that's what we want. The shape, spacing, angle, size, right click for the shape animation, right? Connect to path 1. Not quite, but getting close. Right at the bottom here, path 1. Connect to polyline path 2. We just want polyline path. This one. This is not published. Path 2. Right click, publish. Then on the paint, we connect it to, we right click again back down here and we connect it to path, polyline path 2. Yeah. Sweet. And then the right on gets connected to path 2 displacement. Yes. And then this no. Close, and we wanted to have it leading for some reason, just because we can. How do we get it leading? Let's take a look at this one. Oh, and we also want his, like the angle. We want the angle to be following the displacement as well, right? That wasn't it. Oh, okay, so that's the wrong thing. We want to select the transforms angle and connect it to path 2's displacement. I think. Nope, not quite. Almost. Connected to path 2's heading. There we go. Yeah, woo. Okay, and then the last thing was how to get the dots to be leading. Like, where do we add that 0.1? Gotta probably be in here. Probably in here, right? And then it's gonna be, it's the right on. It's gotta be. Spacing, I think it's right on. Equals. Am I getting a graphics error? Like, I should get the little pop-up thing saying with the pick whip. No, I'm probably doing this wrong. What's not right? Duration, no. Transform. I think that's a bug. Like, I should be, when I type in equals here, I'm supposed to get a, what if I remove this? Remove. Remove. Okay, now if I type in equals. What if I remove this as well? Huh. Okay. No. No. What? Oh, in modifiers? I think it is modifiers. It has to be. It's gotta be. Yeah, okay, so that's where you add in this modifier shenanigans. And this modifier, this needs to be connected to the transforms. The path in the transform, right? Because they're kind of linked up. So in modifiers, hook this up to the displacement. Plus 0.1. Yes. Yes. Yes, all right. Beautiful. And we forgot to add on the this transforms motion blur. Motion blur, if we're gonna use some settings, we probably want to keep it consistent across the different things. And that is it. That is that. All right. That's all. Thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna be streaming later tonight in the evening where I go into Unreal Engine and play with their motion graphics stuff. But these concepts are probably gonna carry over. Just as the pre-mult, post-multiply applies, that's a core concept for compositing. That doesn't matter which program you're in, even Photoshop, that matters. And then this. Looking good. All right, cool. So I'll be back on later. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time. Oh, and if you, I gotta start saying this. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to like. Just drop a follow. That's what I'm looking for nowadays. At this point, just a follow is real helpful. You'll know when I go live. And thanks for